Well, I've been a hypnotist for about 20 years, and with that, I've done stage shows all around the world. I've been a practicing hypnotherapist to help people with a lot of different things, to stop smoking, lose weight, deal with childhood issues, deal with stress, be able to feel more confident in life, be better at public speaking. There's a ton of uses for hypnosis, not just for comedy stuff. Now, a lot of people will turn around and say, well, it's made up, it's mumbo jumbo. I promise you it's not. One of the things is I don't tell lies. Why don't I tell lies? And you might think this is a lie, but I don't tell a lie because you've got to do about 15 lies for each lie, and then another 15 for each 15, and I couldn't keep on top of it. I only do stuff I can practice and put into actual use. So here's a diagram to share with you about how your mind works. So I created this as literally the hypnosis model. So if you imagine that squiggly line where it says conscious mind above and below it says unconscious mind, that is like Titanic, the iceberg with the water. So above the surface is your conscious mind. That's the bit you're thinking with right now. You've got your willpower, short-term memory, your critical abilities, and your logical decision-making. Below the surface is where it gets really interesting. In there, your belief systems, your habits, long-term memory, protective factor that keeps you safe, your senses, your imagination, your values, and your emotions are below the surface. You don't normally interact with them. They just happen to you, and you go, oh my goodness, something's just happened. In the square, you've got unconscious mind. That's your beauty sleep. That's how many times your heart beats, how many times you blink, when your skin sheds and new skin grows. And then outside of that, you see the superconscious mind, and that's your link to all things through prayer and the secret. If you can look at that when you're in hypnosis, what happens is that triangle turns upside down. Your conscious mind goes to the bottom, so you're not conscious of much at all, but the rest of your stuff, imagination and beliefs and values and everything, goes above the surface. So the triangle's like that. As a hypnotist, when I'm doing comedy hypnosis, people become very suggestible because their conscious mind is not really in charge, but all the rest of their stuff, the really cool imagination, all the rest of it is available. So when it comes to programming somebody to stop smoking, losing weight, and all the rest of it, you've got to use hypnosis to get through the water into their subconscious mind and change their relationship with their long-term memory and their experience and their emotions and their belief systems and their habits. Once you change their relationship with something, they let it go and they can move forward. That's basically hypnosis. A lot of it is regression and going back to tap into your memories. So that hopefully will explain quite a lot of it. So when do you start getting hypnotized? You're hypnotized all the time. We're in hypnosis now. Even watching this show, there are a lot of people watching it and you wouldn't believe, oh my goodness, we've been going for 38 minutes so far. Well, about that. That's simply because you lose track of time when you're in a deep hypnosis state. And from the age of 7 is when things change. Well, up to the age of 7, you live in your own little world. You believe everything around you. Then you get to the age of 7, and it's like a lid being put on top of your belief system. From that point on, you start realizing that adults are not gods. They're just grown-ups. And you start realizing the world isn't quite fair the way that you expected it to be when you're a child. And sometimes you don't get what you want. And all the time as a parent, after the age of 7, you're constantly trying to put stuff on top of that helps guide your children to where they need to be. Now, this is important because if you want to change anything that you have a relationship to, then the way that you are right now was formed years ago, before the age of 7, before you were able to decide what was happening to you. It got locked in. So you have to go back to that. It's called the initial sensitizing event and change your relationship to it. So that's a basic idea about how it works. I think we can show exactly what it works like in comedy hypnosis. Now, we're going to show you a clip in a moment of me being on stage with a group of people. I've got an audience of about 500 people at the Madinat Theatre. It's going back a few years. I look naturally blonde, and you'll see. But what I'm doing is I've got a lot of people in hypnosis, and when I suggest to them to do something, they do exactly what I say. Now, this program is important. When you understand how programming works, you'll understand part of why we're so challenged right now. wake up, please. Well, come over here. I've got to say, what happened? Did you get caught off guard? Did you get knocked out?
Oh yeah.
What happened? Did you see the punch coming?
No.
Well, I've got to say I'm very surprised. Now, I've got to say, did you get caught off guard as well?
I can't believe it. I mean, it was just a stupid punch, like, I just fell down, I didn't even see the punch, I just fell down there. I just fell down. I didn't get the punch, I just fell down.
I've seen you fight so many people, both fight so many people. And the thing is, you actually became the best in the world at fighting men and women. Can I ask you, who was the hardest person to fight? Was it Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, or Lennox Lewis? Of those three?
No, it was Rocky Balboa, man.
Rocky Balboa. He was tough.
He was tough.
Absolutely. And how many rounds did you do it in?
2, man.
2 rounds. How many did you get Rocky in?
1.
In 1? Oh, in 1. I've got to ask you, one thing that's very important is obviously you're in amazing physical shape. When you train, how do you train? What do you do?
I work out, man. I work out.
How many hours?
Oh, all day. I work out all day. I skip, I jump, I do dancey steps.
Wonderful. That's the same. And when you work out, how many hours do you do?
I sleep when I work out.
What do you do? And what about diet? Is there some special food you can eat?
Yes.
What?
Only chicken.
Only chicken. Well, I'm going to say, if you've got your cameras by the way, get ready for this. These are your fans out here. I'm going to come to see you, and they're all want to get it. Yeah. They want to see some of your muscle poses. Can you show my muscles? Look at that. Oh my goodness. I'm showing back muscles. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody tell me hello! But yeah, that really happens. And what happens right now, the people who are stuck in lockdown, the people who are scared, the people who are worried about what's going on next, it's related to that. It's related to the world that you create around you and the difference in it. Now, you're probably worried and thinking, right, is that true? Is it not true? Is that made up? What's at the heart of hypnosis? And we'd love to have your comments here, by the way. Feel free to share it. And we'd love to know what you're thinking as this goes along. Ernesto, in terms of hypnosis, you know about NLP, which is like the business end of hypnosis, and you use it in your training to help people to be more effective when you coach them. It helps to bypass the ways that they'd resist, and it gets them to be more effective at what they do.
Yeah, I can definitely see it, and that is one of the things that it is happening right now. I mean, the hypnosis in which people have gone through right now. I mean, and that's actually one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, because I've been having the intention, and I have actually mentioned it a couple of times. You know what? I want to talk a little bit about conspiracy theories in this show, and we have always been very skeptical about talking about that. And you're going to say, well, why are you talking about it right now? But don't worry, I'm not going to actually go and build on the whole thing. But what happens is, this is my observation, when people go into this level of self-hypnosis and they start finding that they don't have any certainty. I mean, that certainty is not really within people. They start finding certainty in things that they are relatively easy to prove, and that's why the conspiracy theories actually happen. So what is your experience? This is my question. This is what is your experience in this situation? I mean, the people which are more easily persuaded in hypnosis, I'm sure that you get this question all the time. What is actually what will make people fall into hypnosis easier?
Fascinating question. It's about being suggestible and susceptible to hypnosis. And the people who are best at doing it are people who are great at taking orders, people who are great at concentrating, people who are very smart, people who don't question anything, but they just take it on board. They are your best subjects. So when you're starting a show and you invite people up from the audience, you do a number of different tests like locking hands and getting people to follow your orders. And you can see instantly who the best subjects are, because when you put them on stage and drop them into hypnosis, they'll do exactly what you say. Now, when we showed that video earlier of the woman going crazy with the masks, I can see the programming from the media, from her beliefs, from the way that she's been encouraged by people, that all came out into doing something that she would never normally do. because I have no doubt that this isn't the first time, probably not the first time she's gone this bonkers on live, but she's probably quite susceptible to losing it sometimes and just going with the flow. So it brings out some of the worst and the best of people. When I've done shows, I've found that armed forces are brilliant for doing hypnosis shows. Why? Because they're trained just to do stuff. So when you tell them to do stuff, they just do it, and they jump as high as they can, and they follow the rules. So why is this so vital? Why is it important? Well, I think to make this easier for everyone to understand, we need to show another video. And this video sort of brings you up to speed with what the phenomena of hypnosis is, because once you understand this and you're able to know what's going on in your own head, then you can know how to deal with it and get the hypnosis and the programming you want that you actually will be able to create yourself. So if you have a look at the screens and watch this, it will explain everything.
For a long time, hypnosis has been a popular point in the entertainment business. And while it is often described as a sleep-like trance state, it is expressed as a state characterized by focused attention, extreme suggestibility, and heightened imagination. It is most often compared to daydreaming, when you are fully conscious, but you tune out most of the distracting stimuli around you. One theory suggests that hypnosis is a way to access a person's subconscious mind directly. But what does this mean? Well, normally, you are aware of the thought process in your conscious mind, meaning that you consciously think over the problems that are right in front of you, thinking about where you left your keys or what color you should wear. This is how your conscious mind solves problems, by accessing information you need through your subconscious mind. What's interesting is your subconscious gets information without your awareness of its thought process, which is how you get new ideas out of the blue. But that's not all. Your subconscious also takes care of stuff you do automatically, from how you breathe to the way you look in the mirror when you drive a car. So in short, your subconscious mind is thinking behind the scenes. And during hypnosis, the subconscious mind is exposed directly to a hypnotist, which is why you feel freer and may be more expressive. Because the conscious mind is not filtering the information you take in, the hypnotist's suggestions seem like they're coming directly from your subconscious, rather than from another person. And this theory has gained wide acceptance in the psychiatric community, mostly because it explains all the major characteristics of the hypnotic state. But others view the phenomenon simply as the placebo effect, due to social pressure and the influence of hypnotics, which is often strong enough to convince people that they should act in a certain way. And while our understanding of hypnosis has advanced a great deal in the past century, the phenomenon is still a mystery.
Why isn't it that more people use hypnosis and actively are in charge of it? Well, you got to go back about 100 years ago for a missionary called James Estale. He was a Scottish missionary working in India, and he was watching the religious swamis, the priests, doing amazing things by putting people into trance states. And he came back to the medical board and said, I've got this amazing thing of putting people into a trance state, and you can do operations. And they said, well, do some more of that. Go and investigate more. And he said, well, no, I'm here to spread the word of Christianity. I don't really want to do that. And at the time, they started using ether, chloroform, to be able to knock people out, to be able to do operations on them. And so if you had the wrong type of amount of chloroform for a small person like me, might kill me, but it might only just knock out somebody like Ernesto, because we're quite different in height. So the modern pharmaceutical world was grown out of that decision that was made. If he hadn't made that decision and come back and worked on it, then we would have had a different shopping mall, not that we're going into shopping malls that much, where you'd have, instead of pharmaceuticals, you'd have hypnotists. We'd all be used to doing it, and we'd all be used to doing stuff for ourselves. And people will say, hypnosis, what's it all about, though? Let's go further back. It goes back 3,000 years and beyond to ancient Egypt, where they had houses of sleep, where they would put people into a trance state and be able to operate on them. So it goes way, way back. So for those with still a question mark about hypnosis, when we share with you what's coming up and the conditioning that's all around you, you'll understand now how the power, the family, the culture, the society, the news, the media, the things you've grown up with are all contributing to hypnotize you to get to the state you're in right now, but nothing gave you an excuse or a roadmap to how to get out of this situation right now. Does that make sense, Ernesto? Thanks for watching the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you watch all the videos over here. There's 2 choices for you. Or, of course, I'm Dave Crane coming from Dubai.
And this is Ernesto Verdugo coming from Houston.
And I think we should send a message. Hold on.
What is this?
Subscribe.